What is up, Broncos Country? And how you doing, Orange and Blue crew? Welcome to the April 15th edition of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. We are 1 week away from the draft. We are so freaking excited. There is so much to talk about. There is so much excitement, so much speculation. No one has any idea exactly what's going to happen. There's been some groundbreaking and shaking news across the NFL this week. There's a lot to talk about. We're so glad you're here with us. Let's do this. This is the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. Let's go.
Smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Never pride in every view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins, analyzing the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
It's good. What's up, Broncos Country? And it's good to be with you, Orange and Blue crew. Welcome to this edition of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. I'm Johnny Baki, the Mile High Viking, and with me, as always, my cousin, my childhood best friend, and my co-host, Jay, the Denver Dream Weaver. Weaver, what's up, cuz? How's your week been?
Dude, it's been good, man. It's good to get back on the saddle here. I feel like I haven't been on for a little bit. I guess it's only been, I think, like 2 weeks, but like, man, when you're in the hang of podding all the time and talking Broncos, I kind of miss it. I've got some built up takes, some built up draft stuff to get to, and it's gonna be a good show, man.
Yeah, taking a week off will kick you right in the butt, right?
It will. Got too much to say now.
Right, exactly. But man, it's good to have you back. I hope you had a happy birthday. That's the whole reason you took the week off, and I hope it was an enjoyable time. I know you said that there was some things with the kiddos that had to be done, which was unpleasant, but I'm glad that you had you got to have your birthday with your gal and with your kids, and I'm very excited to have you back, man.
Very much so. It's an adult birthday when you have kids. It's not like how it used to be.
No, it's not.
I hope, I'm 35 now, so I hope, the year 35 is great. So let's go.
Yeah, wait, man, it gets worse at 36.
I was going to say, you got a sneak peek on me. You got a sneak peek.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Well, anyway, guys, we are excited to have you here. This is the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. We are joined tonight by the one, the only Ben from Sports Talk Denver, who if you've not seen his show, it's an absolutely phenomenal show. Wonderful takes, great statistics, great articles, and he even tosses in videos. It's awesome. So excited. Here comes Ben. Let's bring him on right now. Welcome, Ben. How you doing, man?
What is good, boys? Let's go. Oh yeah. Guys, I'm feeling the love. Feeling the love. Your intro video got me hyped, dude. I need that before I go to work in the morning, man. Dude.
Well, hey, if you want an intro video made, I don't charge a whole lot. I'm even making a new one for Carmelini for
that mic'd up. Yeah, dude. That's sick,
well,
dude.
I'm not just for mic'd up, but specifically for Denver Broncos media battles.
Dang, dude.
So
wow, man.
Well, yeah, if you want one, man, just let me know. Hit me up. I'll help you out.
Absolutely. I'll have to do that for sure. And a happy birthday to you, Jay. You're still somehow not as old as Travis Kelce. So you're great, dude. You
It's
got
true.
a lot left in the tank.
And, you know, I will give some props out there. I like my girlfriend far better than I can ever imagine liking Taylor Swift. So
Oh yeah,
I'm doing better in that category as well.
yeah. I
You know
love
what's
it.
funny, Jay? You're my cousin, and I have yet to meet your gal.
Uh-huh.
But I'm going to tell you, I already like her more than I like Taylor Swift. So,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Blows doors on
But-
her.
it's so good to have you on the show, Ben. Glad to have you here. I've been meaning to ask you to come on for a long time. And so the fact that you're here now is awesome. 1 week before the draft. Do you have any big plans for the draft?
Oh, dude, I got a bunch up in the air with health stuff with my wife, but if it's at all possible, I will definitely be live streaming somewhere, man, because it's gonna be amazing. I don't remember a time where it was just like we're one piece away like this. You know, these past several years, it's been like, well, we've got to do a lot of work, and now it's like you can say with a straight face we're running back away from being a Super Bowl contender, and so it's an exciting time right now, man.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it's a feeling, it's like you said, it's a feeling we haven't had in a long time. Going into a draft where we're not having to worry about what's coming up.
Yeah.
I was going to say that, and it's one of the first drafts we're going into that, like, we can be widespread of what position we take in the first round, whereas we've been, you know, pretty much chalked up to a handful of positions for so long.
100%,
So it's gonna be such a mystery night.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. It's last year, you know, 2 years ago we didn't have a first round pick. Last year, I just kept all I paid attention to was quarterbacks because it was like, hey, are we gonna get Jaden? Is it JJ? All the smoke signals with Sean Payton, and yeah, man, I'm so stoked because like I know the wideout class better than I have known a wideout class in a long time. Running back class, like it's gonna be sick, bro. I can't wait to hear. Ooh, with the sixth pick,
Goosebumps.
the Raiders pick Shedeur Sanders.
Did you do that, Ben? Was that
did,
your
yeah.
sound?
Yeah, I came ready, boys. Like I had to
Really?
bring
Oh
my
my
A game.
gosh.
I had to bring my A game for you guys. You know what
I was
mean?
like, Jay, did you add a sound to our soundboard I didn't know about?
I just like was like a Russian
Ben-
bot and I took over. Yeah.
Ben, I have
Alright,
to I have to put a pin in this real quick here.
Yeah.
Are you truly thinking Shadeur's going to go to Las Vegas? Is that
Oh,
a
for
thing
sure,
now?
dude. Yes, Shedeur is going to
Really?
Las Vegas, so Ashton will fall even further. Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna happen, man. If he doesn't go earlier, like the Giants are flying out to Boulder right now for a workout with him.
Yep.
I think he's gonna go much higher, and I think just like last year, you remember everyone was saying Bo Nix was gonna be a third round guy, and then we had
yeah.
6 quarterbacks by pick 12. I think we're gonna have 4 first round quarterbacks, and if that happens, insane talent is gonna fall to us at 20.
That's by far my
mean-
worst nightmare. Having to
Dude,
see
I
him
know,
twice
me
a year.
too. That was I'm so torn because
I'm
good.
terrified. I'm
It's
terrified.
good because they're not going to be good this year because they're going to have
Sure.
and they have to do what we do with Russ and Gino's dead cap. But it sucks for the years to come because I know Shedeur Sanders is going to be very good.
Oh
Absolutely.
yes, there's no doubt that he's going to be very good.
Yeah.
We already have some of our resident commenters in the chat. One, Mr. David Yunkin, he pops in saying, "Evening, everyone. Referees should be held to a higher standard because they control the outcome of the game," and that's absolutely true. He's referencing, of course, the title of tonight's show, which we will get to. He also comes in wishing you a happy birthday, old boy, to you, Jay.
David.
Our dear friend, our buddy D-Rock, rocking with his awesome picture, rocking his Broncos shorts with his dog. I believe his name is Blue. It's good to see him. He says, "Sup, dudes?" It's good to see you, my friend. Our resident hype man, our game day hype man, who will have his own segment every game day show this season on the
Ooh.
Get Bucked Game Day show. Shy Vargas pops in saying,
Let's go, Shy.
Sanders is not going to the Raiders.
Ooh.
So,
bold.
Ooh,
bold-
see mic'd up in the play. I see Graham. I know him too.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Graham and Mike.
dude,
Mike
it's so
Carmelini in the
cool.
house. And I'm assuming this is why Ben didn't answer my text. He's in with the boys.
You bet. Mike, did you text me?
And
Mike, another shirtless pick? Dude, I got your other okay. Just classic Mike, all the shirtless
yeah, I
pick.
know. So far, all I've ever gotten for the shirtless pics from him is from the chest up, like from like this.
Yeah.
I've yet to get the whole shirtless yet.
It's
you know,
something
still
it's
working
something
my
to
way
be
there.
seen. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
forward you this one.
Yeah.
Dude, I recognize Graham
Mikey
from
in the
my
house.
channel too.
the site expert over at the fan-sided Avalanche podcast or Avalanche page says, y'all
sweet.
got Ben on the show. It's good to see Graham in here.
That's so cool.
Another person wishing you a happy birthday since you weren't here last week, Jay, and that would be D-Rock saying, happy birthday, Dreamweaver.
You're my boy, Blue.
6'10" Mexican Adon Diaz, host of the Broncos Talk and Viva Los Broncos shows here on our network, on Orange and Blue Network, says, I'm just here so I don't get fined. You got to change that N to an R, buddy, because you're just here so you don't get fired. That's what it is. Thank you, Graham. I forgot. Mile High Sticking. Over
cool.
on
that out.
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fun. Graham used to write with me on Predominantly Orange, but he now is the site expert for Mile High Sticking. So that's awesome. So guys, real quick to get just to get it out of the way, this the show tonight and every show we do on the Orange and Blue Network is brought to you by Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend, which you can find if you click the link in the bio below. Check it out. Dubby is amazing stuff. Comes in a multitude of delicious flavors. Is a fantastic energy drink. Has 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine in every single cup of Dubby. Jay is there. There's Jay modeling it below. This stuff is amazing. Gives you the kick in the pants you need to start your day and to keep going through your day. But you get to do it without getting the jitters or the crash later because Dubby has no sugar. It also has no calories, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. It's as natural as it can be, made with nothing but B vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented neurofactor nootropic. It is great stuff. And the caffeine that's in Dubby is derived directly from the coffee plant. So it's as natural as it can be. Amazing flavors. That one right there is my absolute favorite. Calio cream. It's a wonderful like orange creamsicle flavor. It's fantastic and I love it. That's how you, as Broncos country, get yourself the dub. You go on over to w.gg, but we're going to make that dub even sweeter for you because at the checkout, you're going to punch in code NRWOB10. NRWOB10 will get you 10% off your order. So go check out Dubby, guys. Get yourself the dub. All right, now that that's out of the way, we can talk some football. We can talk some Broncos. Let's do this thing. So, the title of tonight's show, finally new referee accountability. Have you guys been keeping up with the news this week that the NFL has officially fired 3 NFL referees and sent them back down to the power conferences in college due to some questionable calling in the during this last season?
No, I saw the headline, but I did not read it. But it was literally because they were bad, huh?
Well,
there were some very questionable calls. Yes, very.
Well, yeah, I know that absolutely. I know
it begs
that.
the question. Wow. It begs the question. Yeah. When's the last time you heard this happening? Like this seems like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And like, is this for real or is this a publicity stunt by the NFL? Because they know that like towards the end of last season, everyone was talking about Chief officiating like every Chiefs game. So
yeah, it's possible. It's possible. So, of the 3 referees, and I don't have their names all off the top of my head. It wasn't all in Chiefs games that they officiated, but it was.
But it was. It was. Yeah.
But it was 3 of them that had been hired within the last 2 years or 2 or 3 years to the NFL from the college level. 2 males, 1 female. And
wasn't there? Was it that blonde girl?
I believe so.
Yeah. Huh.
And the decision to do so was made by the vice president of NFL officiating, Ramon George, who is going into his 2nd year in that position. And according to the article that I read, and I also submitted, it's not up yet, but I submitted my own article for Predominantly Orange about this tonight, actually. So hopefully we'll see it on Predominantly Orange by tomorrow. But it was basically a source told the writer of the article over at what is it, footballzebras.com that covers NFL referees that Ramon George made this decision going into his 2nd year in this position as vice president of NFL officiating, and he has been putting a massive emphasis on accountability and using data to support changes and improvement, not just watching film, but actually looking at raw data that is drawn up from the games. They didn't give any specifics as to why these were the 3 that were chosen, but they have been essentially fired from the NFL. They're still on a contract, so that there's no union issues there, but they're dropping down to the collegiate level, back down to the collegiate level in the power conferences. So, I mean, what do you think about this? I get what you were saying, Jay, about how it could be just a publicity stunt to kind of get fans off the NFL's back about the officiating issues. But if do you think this could be a legit sign of things to come? Ben, would you mind get going first on this one?
Yeah. I mean, partially it's probably symbolic, but it's about time we at least see the symbolic moves and then see that backed up, because it's gotten out of control. And I think the NFL, we're talking I don't think people can even quantify how much money the NFL generates, because it can't quantify stuff like our shows and they have no idea how much money that they generate for the world. And the fact that NFL referees, one of the only professional leagues where they're not full-time referees, these dudes are doctors and lawyers, and they should be full-time referees that devote themselves to the craft, that get in shape, that study film, that study tendencies, and know going into a game, this is going to be Myles Garrett. We better watch for him taking his helmet off and trying to hit somebody in the face with it. This is Patrick Mahomes. He flopped last week. Let's watch for that this week. And they don't, because it's a part-time job, which is ridiculous. So props to Roger Goodell to do that. And I hope it is more than just symbolic. I also think the fact that they added that Sony eye tracking technology. Now, the other thing about that Bills game was, how many times did the Buffalo Bills have a first down that they spotted 2 yards back to just make, and the Bills ended up having to punt the ball away and didn't get it back. So props to them, man, because I think they need to protect the brand, and we were getting tired of it. And it wasn't just Broncos fans. It was across the country, across Twitter, every single Chiefs game. Everyone was pointing that out. And so you got to do something.
Emotional damage.
It's
I have some.
It's
what do you think, Jay?
Well, so I was reading up on this, and the 2 blatant highlights from this head referee, I think his last name is Blake, the Atlanta Falcons pass interference against Kansas City, where Kyle Pitts was in the back of the end zone and just gets clobbered, and there's absolutely no call whatsoever. And that ultimately, held the victory for the Chiefs, and one of their many examples.
It reminded you a lot of the no call against the Rams and the Saints in the NFC Championship in 2018.
Yeah, I was going to say there's plenty of examples where that exact play exists, where it's been called or hasn't been called, but that was super blatant to basically decide the game. But the other one was a face mask on Sam Darnold by a Rams player in the end zone to result in I think it was resulting in a safety. And again, that decided a game. So man, it definitely needs to change. Thank God that they're at least putting some AI, because we will always have human error if we're relying solely on human referees to dictate calls as far as judgment calls. But one more aspect I will say that I think we need to get to eventually is that every play needs to be reviewable. There's zero reason why some plays can be reviewable and some cannot. Don't change how many challenges each team gets. That's all fine and dandy. But everything should be challenged.
And that's the thing is too. I think that it should be illegal for the coach to challenge a call or a no call.
Yep.
As
you
part
call
of the game.
Holding that brings back an 80-yard touchdown, I should be able to review if that was actually holding or not.
Or if there was holding that allowed for a 80-yard touchdown, I should be able to call for you to review it and make sure, that there was that, and it was, on a no call. Things like that. And the other thing too, real quick, David Youngkin says, no, not the Kansas City refs. Yeah. Graham says the Chiefs ought to sit out the year. Carmelini says 3 refs fired. Chiefs will need to fill those roster spots. 100%. I actually saw one of the best memes today about this whole thing, talking about these 3 refs getting fired. It said Chiefs are considering retiring their numbers.
That
being,
better not be a Colorado dig.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a touchy subject right
Oh,
now.
I forgot.
Yeah, right.
that is,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Shador Sanders,
fact,
yeah.
Shador and Travis both, yeah. But the other thing that I think would really help in this kind of accountability going forward is what's one thing that happens to players when the NFL reviews dirty plays? They get fined after the fact, right? Like, you'll hear about it 3-4 days after the game, and it'll be like, Kareem Jackson fined, $32,000 for dirty hit and blah blah blah, right? If I think that in addition to review during the game, the NFL needs to review the refs after every game, and if
Dude,
they
the NBA does that.
and if they missed a call or they called a questionable call, they should get fined too.
Yep, and
Like-
the NBA does the final 3-minute report, where they come out and say, "Oh, he did step out of bounds. We should have done that," or 100%, man. And I think this does help us because the refs, unbiasedly, the refs did favor the Chiefs, and Bo Nix didn't get a ton of calls being a rookie, and that's part of the process. But he got 0 late hits on him the entire season, even though he got speared in the back and literally broke a vertebrae in his back, or one of the I don't know, it's the upper dorsimus. I'm not a doctor, okay, but he broke part of his back because of getting speared by the Raiders, and yeah, that's got to stop. So
I mean, there's even I even recall a play after, I can't remember who we were playing exactly, but it was after the game where he broke his ribs against the Raiders, where he ran the ball and there was an obvious dive for helmet to helmet that never got called. I mean, they smacked him right in the top of his skull. It was literally on the pinpoint. And nothing was called. And I was like, where's the call?
Yeah.
There was nothing.
I think we'll be able to tell within the first, 3 weeks of the season if there's actually been change made.
Yeah.
Because, getting rid of one head referee and a bunch of linesmen, again, that doesn't scream to me like revamping the whole organization, but we'll see.
Maybe not. But I will say this. It might, maybe just this move, firing these 3, it could be symbolic. But what did the Nuggets just do with their head coach? I mean, our winningest head coach in history led us to our first championship, developed Nikola Jokic. He's the most legendary coach in the history of the Nuggets, even above George Karl, in my opinion. And I know that that's scary to say, but we fired him 3 games before the end of the season because we were on a 4-game losing slide that was disgusting. And we'd been seeing a lot of the same things all season long that weren't getting changed. And what happened with the Nuggets after his firing? I mean, hallelujah. We went 3-0 with David Adelman as our interim head coach, and we secured the 4th seed in the playoffs. So it could be a symbolic motion made by the NFL. Fire these 3, put the other refs on notice that if this behavior doesn't change, your job's at stake.
Yep. Yeah, because the thing you don't want and I think the Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs because they didn't go into that game thinking they had to beat the refs too, and they were just like, hey, we're going to outplay them so badly that doesn't matter. And when it's a tight matchup and in the back of your mind, you're like, oh, these guys are going to get all the calls. You're already walking in with a loser mentality. So you don't want, you don't want the Broncos to be even having this conversation. We can as fans, but you want them to be like, hey, we're so much better than them. I don't care if they get all the calls, but doing something like this just takes that whole thing out. And I think it will give the guys more confidence that it's an even playing field.
Yeah.
I think to your point, Ben, this is like last year was more apparent because the Chiefs were in so many 1-possession games that it did swing, that, those details actually did swing the game. Whereas in previous years, they've had such a lead that calls like that got buried in the news and nobody really had focus to it. So
yeah,
we'll see if there's a monumental change. I think it'll be obviously beneficial for the Broncos if anything goes down in that regard for Kansas City.
I honestly think it'll be beneficial for the entire league, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, it's not going to matter to the Broncos because we're going to be up so big because we were already last year. I mean, we were every game that we won basically was like a double-digit win, and all of our losses except for the Baltimore loss and then the Buffalo one were all within 1 score. So
1 score.
Yep.
And that's actually why on so last week's episode, Jay was out because it was his birthday, and I had one of our new hosts who will be debuting his show in June called the Broncos Bros. Had him on last week, and we actually did a position by position breakdown of the current roster and actually predicted what the season would look like were the season to start tomorrow before the draft with who we have. And I honestly gave us 11-5, or 11-6 or whatever. Yeah, 11-6. And before the draft, and then 12-5 after the draft, because of who we have right now as it stands. And a big part of why I predicted that was because of, like you said, how close we were to those wins, to those losses, but by one score. We had 10 wins with a rookie quarterback who's going into his second year in this system, familiar with all of his supporting cast, because we really didn't lose anybody who were really going to miss in free agency. To me, it just speaks to, and I don't believe, based on work ethic, he's going to hit that sophomore slump. So I really think that we are going to be the talk of the NFL by the end of the season. Let's see. We have Victory Lap popping in saying, "Let's Bo!" Doing it with his awesome little orange and blue diamonds.
I thought it said "Let's Bronco." Okay, I love it. Good.
He's saying, "Let's Bo!" We got Graham Tidekey saying, "I wish they called more penalties on the Chiefs during that game where they beat us with the last second field goal block." Agreed. There was a lot of missed calls there. He also says being proactive is important. If the Broncos didn't at least make the Russ trade, we might be saying they should have. Couldn't agree more. Proactive is very, very important. David Youngkin, across the board, refereeing has been quite questionable. Completely. Victory Lap popping back in. We all know by now NFL and NBA refs are trash. Let's see. Graham Tidekey saying, off topic, but do you want to laugh? Emmett Smith thinks the Cowboys are way ahead of the Eagles. That's
in what? Yeah.
Off-season vibes. It's off-season vibe sessions.
Dude, that's
Emmett,
I can't wait for that game because we have Dallas at home this year.
We do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh. I'm not scared.
Yeah, I know.
We got David Youngkin saying, what the hell is he smoking? Victory Lab saying, we taking the division. And Shai is asking, why does everyone think Bo Nix will have a sophomore slump? Well, I mean, who wants to go first on this one?
I don't think anyone who actually watched him like we did, but I mean, because now I'm born and raised in Colorado and moved to Michigan during COVID. I just can't tell you the number of people who I see every day at work who have zero clue who our quarterback even is. And we got flexed into a couple games. And I remember it was the Cincinnati Bengals game. My boss at work texted me during the overtime, like, dude, this guy's really good. So I think people saying that Bo Nix is going to have a sophomore slump, they didn't watch him. It's like Nikola Jokic probably should have been MVP way before he actually was, but we were flyover.
And should be this year.
Oh, 100%, dude. But I think it's so the same people who don't think he's that good are the people who are saying he's going to have a sophomore slump. If you know anything about Bo Nix, he is a film junkie. So when Sean Payton fell in love with him, when he took off his drawstring backpack and he had a notebook and a lacrosse ball to roll out, and that's all he cares about. He's married. He's not out clubbing or partying. He bought a house in like a retirement community kind of in Castle Rock, and
wants that quiet life.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And this is the first year he's had consistency in the coaching division, from going to when he was in Auburn and then going to Oregon and then going to the NFL, different offensive coordinators every time. He's not going to have a sophomore slump.
I completely agree. Jay, what do you think on that?
No, I don't think Bo will have a sophomore slump. My only contention, and I said this on Mic'd Up and got trashed for it, but you know,
oh boy,
I think
gosh, that host is so handsome, right, guys? Is it just me?
Oh yeah, I love Mike. You know, what a smile, what a winning smile.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The Broncos could maybe take a step back in a win total sense. We were one of the healthiest teams last year. That maybe isn't a repeatable thing realistically for any NFL team. I don't know. I could see us making huge progress offensively, and Bo is going to be like, whoa, he's going to be, you know, he's going to have a second contract, obviously. That kind of season of like, all right, we're good. Like, so not a sophomore slump for Bo, but maybe just the team is about the same or regresses just like a tidbit. You just never know.
If you look at Mac Jones and who's the cat from Houston,
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, CJ Stroud. It is very common to see that where they don't perform as well. But the thing about Bo is that he got better every game. And so typically when you have a sophomore slump, it's like you have that luck of they don't know how to game plan against you, but it was Bo Nix's worst 2 games were Seattle and Pittsburgh at the start of last season, and from there on, it was a Dogecoin
Uphill.
bounce to the moon, baby. And so they
Yeah.
didn't figure
Yeah.
him out at the end. You know, they're not going to figure him out next year.
No.
I thought you said go, Bo, go.
I like that.
It's one of my favorite comedy movies of all time is the modern remake of The Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh,
Sean
nice.
Scott and
The Jessica
Johnny
Simpson
Knoxville.
movie, basically, as
Yeah.
any,
Yeah.
you know.
It's just awkward.
Yeah.
Jessica Simpson and I dated for a while, and
Oh,
I broke up with her, broke her heart. She's like, I don't know. It was just a weird thing. So
You
It's
can't,
a
she's
Fisher
still not
tuna,
over
man.
you, huh?
yeah,
Fisher
she's not
tuna.
over me. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't actually
Well,
get that.
But
Fish-
you know,
oh, I remember. Yeah, okay, yeah,
It's a horrible scene back
Yeah.
in the day, like
Yeah.
25 years ago.
I remember that.
So okay, yeah, I mean we're all in agreement. Bo's not going to have this stupid sophomore slump everybody's talking about. And I don't even know why everybody talks about the sophomore slump from CJ Stroud. The dude still managed to take them to the Texans to the playoffs, won a game, and he did it all and he did it all with a supporting cast that kind of got, they got wrecked during the regular season. I mean, Tank Dell went down in week 3?
Yeah, Stephon Diggs.
So-
Yep.
Yep. I mean, so, I don't know what they were talking about this sophomore slump from CJ Stroud. He, if anything, the team around him is what caused him to regress, a little
They had
bit.
injuries. So, I
Yeah.
mean, technically,
So-
it's
Yeah,
out of
and-
control.
And Jay, to your point, we had the NFC South last year, which was just the biggest
Easy.
blessing,
Yep.
And so this year to have Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, all those, I mean, that's tough. And
Let's take the
Wins and
NFC East,
losses.
baby.
yeah,
Yeah, wins and losses might be, non-representative of where this team actually goes.
right. But luckily the Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders all have to do that too. And we're third place division or, third place schedule, which is a huge blessing again. So
True.
I
Mhm.
think 10 wins is our floor.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. It's what you can expect.
Yep.
Okay. Getting the last couple of comments here, and then we'll move on. We will do a set. We want to do another two. I got one more question directly for you, Ben, and then I want to do our one of our favorite segments called "The Phrase is Incomplete."
Ooh.
So we got. Let's see. We have D-Rock asking you, Ben, are you still on the Ashton Genty to Denver train?
I am, man. I am on the Ashton Genty and it's hopium for sure. Like it's what I want. And so why not predict what you want and hope it
You're hitting
comes
that
true?
hopium
I
pipe
want
pretty hard.
Travis.
Man.
Yep.
Come on, Travis.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, Jay. You're out of your damn mind.
If
You
we're
think there's any
hoping,
chance we get
if we're
Travis?
hoping, why not? Don't
I mean,
crush my dreams, Johnny.
I
Don't
I
crush
said
my
it
dreams.
on Denver Broncos media battles that if there was one player in the draft to take, it's Travis Hunter, but it's never gonna happen. I wish. God, I wish
Sick.
it would be. But let's see. David Youngkin. The only way he takes a step back is on Sean in the draft. No weapons. Then he might. Okay. I honestly think if we don't get a good, a game-changing running back in this draft, and that's the one, then yeah, we there's a possibility that the game stagnates or or goes down. But I don't think it goes down. If anything, it would stay right where it was. But I think that we're going to see a step forward from a lot of our offensive players, especially guys like Devon Vele, and maybe even I'm scared saying this, but maybe even Troy Franklin. With how with the way he was finally starting to at least figure out not to put baby oil on his hands before the game towards the end of the season. So there's that. Victory Lap says defense will be a problem. We are on the rise, and he predicts a 12-5 season as well.
Love it.
And David Youngkin, same thing. Prediction before the 2025 free agency was 11-6 or 12-5, and that was before free agency, before we added Hufanga and Greenlaw and Evan Ingram. So that was huge. And speaking of Evan Ingram, how awesome was his interview with Benny Fowler on DNVR?
That was awesome, man.
Yeah, it was.
Benny Fowler's a huge get. Like I love Todd Davis there, but man, Benny, when he was guest hosting, I'm like, man, I hope they can get him long term because he's incredible.
Every game day they had a watch show with
With No Sean.
Marino.
Yeah.
No Sean Marino was great on
Yeah.
that show. I felt as well. DNVR knocks it out of the park. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jay, you're a DNVR file. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you're in love with
I'm-
everyone over there.
Yep.
Almost to the level of your love of Little Debbie.
Hey,
Um,
they've only like changed sports media. No big deal. Like,
yeah, but
can't gush it.
but no, we actually have a long history with DNVR. We love those guys. We know them well. Ben, I don't know if you ever saw it, but Copper, the Denver Nuggets dog that was on that was on D-Line's lap following the loss to or the game against the Timberwolves in the
How'd you die in a car accident?
huh?
Didn't that die? Or that was the Loveland dog that died. Okay, sorry. Yeah,
This is the little Pomeranian that was sitting on
yeah.
D-Line's
Okay.
lap.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that? That's
I
my
did.
dog.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's cool.
That's my service dog.
That's
And
awesome, man.
we went up to the studio following that game, and it was me and Jay, and we went up there to the studio, and my dog Copper just jumped off his leash, ran right up, jumped up on D-Line's lap, who he's familiar with, and sat there the whole episode.
Dude, that's incredible, man. So I flew into Denver for the Nuggets finals, hoping like I was gonna be able to go on Game Time and get a last second deal, and I couldn't. So it took my 65-year-old dad and brother-in-law to the DNVR
Were
bar.
you there?
Yeah, man.
I
it was
there, man. I was at DNVR bar for that championship, and then I was there
incredible.
parade and after party.
Yeah, man, dude,
Incredible
like that
experience.
hearing "We Are the Champions" was just like,
I have that as a video, man.
dude. I do
It's
too,
on my
man.
phone right
Yep.
now.
I
I'll
was
never
not
forget
there. I wanted to
epic.
be. I couldn't
Yep.
afford the
See?
trip.
Ben, we were in the same building.
Dude,
we didn't
see,
even know
we
it.
are best friends.
See, here we are.
Were you wearing a shirt in it? Because okay, I think I reckon it. Take your shirt off. Let me see.
There were
If I recognize
the
it.
Mile High Prophet.
We just become best friends.
Amazing.
Yeah.
With the flag and everything.
Yep,
It was
that was
terrific,
awesome, man.
That didn't go out.
We
right.
just
I'm
become
saying.
best friends.
There it is.
Love it.
Step Brothers. I love it. Carmelini says, find someone that looks at you the way Ben looks at me.
It's true.
All right, Ben. Before we do the segment, my last question for you, my friend. Currently, as it stands, I know you've probably answered this on every podcast you've gone on your own, and even on Broncos media battles. I'm pretty sure you did because I watched that episode. But still, what is your take on the state of the Broncos, just in general, and what is your final record prediction right now?
Let's go 11 wins will be my final. I'll definitely do, are we getting that Germany game against the Colts, and what does that do? What is our road games? Sean Payton's the winningest coach in the month of October. So do we get the Eagles in October? That'd be great. So all that, but I'll say 11 wins, dude. It is the best time to buy in on the Denver Broncos. You guys, like Bo Nix, 1.8% of his plays were turnover worthy. No one knows how good he is outside of Denver. And I can tell you that living in another state, every single problem we had on defense, we went out and didn't just get adequate people to fill in for him. We found Pro Bowlers and All Pro and almost Super Bowl champions, Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga. Their teams wanted them so bad that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan literally flew out to Dallas to try to be like, hey, come back. The amazing upgrades to take your two biggest holes on defense and fill them with that. And then we go out and steal Evan Ingram from the Los Angeles Chargers, who wanted him. And he watched tape of Justin Herbert and tape of Bo Nix and said, I'm going there because Bo Nix is the fix. And we know it.
Yeah, absolutely. Davis, according to him too, Davis Webb really helped.
I was going to say, thank God for Davis Webb.
Yep.
Like Davis Webb is
Yep.
the guy that was on it.
Totally.
Yeah. Victory Lab says, and Bo was playing hurt.
Yes, dude.
I mean, and you said you're not from a medical background. I was a U.S. Army combat medic and a paramedic for a while.
Oh.
And I come from a medical background. I still work in the medical field as a medical quality assurance specialist. And I'm going to tell you, dude, even a hairline fracture of one vertebrae, let alone 3, that's that kind of pain and the limitations that causes for you, for him to be out there doing what he did, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Yep. Bo Nix can do more on a broken back than any of us could do healthy. It reminds me of Lance Armstrong. Like that dude could do more with one testicle than any of us could do with 2, and that's a cold-hearted fact. Am I right?
True. That's true.
I still can't. You said testicle, and now I still can't get over the fact that during my Denver Broncos media battle against Mundungus, we got Mike Carmelini's wife to say testicles. It was awesome.
Oh, that was. I watched that one too.
Yeah, it was. I had my blue
Yeah.
war paint, my horns on.
That's awesome.
So like if you actually tune in, Ben, to our game day show during the season,
Hilarious.
like I'm full out. I've got chains and armbands, and
That's awesome,
I've
man.
got my mile high Viking Warhammer and things like that. I'm like I'm that crazy guy. I'm that crazy guy at the stadium
Love
whenever I go. But okay, so love your state of the Broncos. Couldn't agree with you more. And again, we're so excited that you came on with us tonight. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this segment real quick so you can get out of here. But we really appreciate you, Ben,
Oh,
for
of
coming
course,
on.
man. We'll do it again for
Um,
sure.
Oh, definitely, man. All right, so I think it's good time now to go into the phrase is incomplete. Welcome to the phrase is incomplete. This is a fun game we like to play. It's so simple, it's ridiculous. All you have to do is make a statement, not a question, a statement about the Denver Broncos, a player, a coach, the season, something, and leave a blank in there that each one of us will complete. So you're going to give us an incomplete phrase. So since I just kind of put you on the spot with this one, Ben, I don't know if you want to go first on this or if you want one of us to.
Yeah, let me at it, boys. Let me in. Let's go Big Nick's blank.
Big Nick's blank. That nobody's ever done one of those before.
Yeah,
like
that
the
is
whole like
very open-ended.
declaratory.
Yeah.
Not like it's always been like a stat line or something.
Oh,
It's never been
yeah,
like
yeah.
a declaratory statement, like Big
Yeah.
Nick's blank.
Ah,
Let me get my
all right.
soapbox here. Like,
Yeah, right.
that is.
All right. Man, I'm trying. I'm a little like.
Do you
I'm
want to
a
go
little,
first, Johnny?
I'm trying to come up with
Are
something.
you
off
two
the top of my head.
verklempt? Are you two verklempt to go
For
first?
verklempt. Verklempt. You used the word verklempt. Well done,
I
Jay.
sure did.
Well done. You go ahead. Because I'm gonna need a minute.
Right.
Ben hit me like a freight train with that one.
So I think Bo Nix will probably be just as explosive with his legs next year as he was in his rookie year. I see a ascension in that skill set and the utilization of plays for that skill set going into his sophomore year. I think you lean on that as a younger player while he still has the jets he does. Nobody thought he had the jets he had going into last year, like as a rookie. I certainly didn't have any clue Bo Nix could like run with it. I don't know. So that's my big, I guess, jump for him next year is to be like way more athletic and have probably, I'd say, I don't know, more than 500 yards rushing. Let's go with that.
love it.
All right. Mike Carmelini says Big Nick's energy.
Woo! That's kind of what I was thinking in my mind.
Victory
But,
Lab says
yeah.
Big Nick 6.
Ooh, Big Nick's for
Love
6.
I'm not sure. D-Rock throws this in there. I'm not sure what it is. Hot sauce, horseshoe toss, Riley Moss, Lakers in 5.
How dare you, D-Rock? Get up.
No,
Get
get off of this
him
show. Get
out
out.
of
No, I'm
here.
just kidding. We love you, buddy.
I can't. Yeah, it's playoff time, man.
No, we want Lakers in
so-
5 over Timberwolves for sure. That's
get it.
fine. I'm good with
not
that.
over
I'd
the
rather-
Nuggets.
No, but I would like the Lakers to beat the Timberwolves, and we can take care of Luka.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Now for mine. Big Nick's. It's not gonna. I'm not going Dr. Seuss with this. Big Nick's number 1 deep pass quarterback in 2025.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He was
would-
dang close to it last year,
gonna say,
dude.
I was gonna say a lot of people don't know this because a lot of people have been hypercritical over his deep passing, and I don't know why. Because he was number 3 in deep passes. He had over 870 deep pass yards.
Bro,
Okay?
if Troy Franklin comes down with 3 more, he's number 1. And
that's what I'm saying.
One of them was like an overthrow, but I think Troy
football.
Franklin had his hand on at least 2. It's
So there you go.
Love it.
Next season, Bo Nix, deep pass, number 1 deep pass quarterback in the NFL.
Interesting.
Yep.
All
It's
right,
a knock in the
Jay.
draft.
Yeah, absolutely. D-Rock gives his Big Nick's 40+ tutties. Whew.
Baby. Salute.
Let's do it. All right, Jay, what's your incomplete phrase?
So in the noise of mock draft season that we've been upon here for what, like 4 or 5 weeks of just nonstop,
Yeah.
like,
I'm so tired.
here's another 3-rounder. Like,
Here's
So
my 7-rounder. Here's
yeah,
my
I
5th. What do you
can't-
guys think?
I just can't anymore. I'm so excited the draft's next week, so we're all done with all of that.
Yeah.
But I will give not person but position.
Mm-hmm.
What the Broncos will draft blank position in the first round. Position. Don't care about the person. Everyone's going to debate on who you like more than the
this
other.
is tough because my prediction actually
Position.
has nothing to do with the first round. So,
Well, could be.
fine. I will complete it. The Denver Broncos will draft no position in the first round.
Oh, that's
Ooh, wow. Spicy.
yeah.
The Denver Broncos will trade back out of the first round
Out.
and
Completely
themselves and get. I don't want that. I don't want that because we will be live during the first round of the draft.
out.
I don't.
Will.
However, Ben's take is that there's going to be some really big like running back names that are going to drop to us at 20, and I disagree. I don't think they will. And it's a really bad spot, and 20 is a really bad spot to be right now. It honestly is, in my opinion. And so what they will do is I predict Sean Payton, George Payton, the Payton and Payton, connection are going to take maybe a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder this year and maybe a 6th rounder next year from someone to drop back into
that. But yes.
But to drop back into the 2nd round. And there we can go after guys like Caleb Johnson and
Scattaboo.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
Nah,
I'm
not a Scatabo fan, but I love Caleb Johnson. I love Travion Henderson, and I love Judkins. So I could see us dropping back in the 2nd round.
Ben, there is a massive contingency of Scattaboo supporters going into the draft.
It's like reminds me of Peyton Hillis. Yeah,
it's true. Like there's a huge following that people will go to bat of like, no, Scattaboo, he might be better than Genty in the end here. Like
that's just a fact. But yeah, I'll say you know what, Johnny, I actually agree that I think if Genty or Omarion Hampton are not there at 20, I think the Broncos do trade back. But I do think their first pick will be a running back. But it might be the 2nd round if Omarion and Genty are gone.
So there's Ben's completion of the phrase.
Yep.
Okay.
I like this game.
Let me ask Johnny,
right?
If even in the 2nd, then what's the first position? Is the first position running
running
back?
back?
Yeah, running back.
What
Sure.
you said?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Here, can I do another one really quick?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Girls never liked me in high school because I struggle with making friends because okay. You're Johnny. Give me a phrase to complete. Sorry. I just like this game. This is fun.
Real quick, Jay's got to complete his own phrase.
Oh.
So I'm going to say defensive line. That would be my thought. Actually, I think we always zig when we should zag, and we always zag when we should zig. We are the king of like smoke screens. I feel like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be a position we don't expect. I don't think it's going to be a running back, and I don't think it's going to be a wide receiver either. I think it's going to be some other thing.
Yeah. D-Rock agrees with you, Jay. DT Derek Harmon.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
you definitely keep like Elway always said, keep a strength to strength.
Correct.
That's not a bad
Still
move. And if you truly believe that you can find, we saw Kamara, 3rd round draft pick. Like we've visited with 8 running backs. Sean Payton is not going to overdraft somebody. So
hedge your bet with an edge runner.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why not put another egg in the basket of the Cooper Benito tandem? Yep. I mean, we're going to pay them. I mean, we're going to pay them. They'll get their money, but for how many years, depending on if, we drafted another edge and it worked out. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Victory Lap says, I like Scatabo. D-Rock says Scatabo. Ooh, say it again.
Oh.
You might want to go change your Broncos shorts there, D-Rock.
Yeah.
Mike Clemens says, girls like you now. And if I was to complete that phrase, Ben, I couldn't because I was actually voted in my yearbook to be least likely to be dateless to prom. So I don't know.
That's a major flex there.
Yeah,
it
was.
Tuesday night.
It was a good. Dude,
Yeah.
when
Good
I
lord.
got voted on senior night, when they put out those what do they call those?
Superlatives, senior
Yes,
superlatives. Yep.
superlative. When they put that out on senior night, I was like, oh God.
This
And
is
of
my
course,
Super
I had-
Bowl. Yeah.
the one scary thing was that a lot of the girls that I had dated, their dads were in the auditorium, and I looked and I kept looking around. They were all staring at me. That was awkward.
Mm.
But
Longmont High
Yeah.
School, baby. Let's go.
Little
yeah,
bit.
it was crazy. But okay, so I guess it's my turn for an incomplete phrase. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Fill in the blank. Incomplete phrase. The Denver Broncos defense will be blank in 2025.
Top defense in the entire league. We were top 3 last year, and we just put in 2 Pro Bowlers. We're gonna Riley Moss is gonna be another year in. Chris Abrams-Strain is gonna be going into year 2. We have the best cornerback in the entire game. Benito wants to get that bag out. We got guys who are hungry. You know, they want to get re-signed, and so you're gonna see that this year.
Absolutely. Jay?
Can I just say samesies?
Ditto.
It's not a debate show, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I would say the Broncos defense will be just as good as last year, as advertised. It's going to be one of those things that even if we do have injury bugs, we actually have depth at some good positions, and I think we'll only have better depth after draft because I don't think we're going to just ignore the defense. So the cabinet will be added to. And that's honestly the hallmark of our entire team. That's where a lot of our money is, and our defense, it can win us games by itself. So it's just gravy, the development of our offense. It's going to be great.
All right. To finish my own, I'm just going to use, I'm going to say this. The Denver Broncos defense are going to be a nightmare in 2025. Like I fully predict with that pass rush, with Hufanga being who he is, being able to get, on some safety blitzes, which we know that, Vance Joseph loves to draw up. I think quarterbacks are going to be going to bed at night, checking under their bed for Denver Broncos defensemen. So, yeah, the Denver Broncos defense are going to be a nightmare in 2025. So, I don't know, Ben, do you want to give another one?
No, I think I said all my words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna give me just 1 second. We'll roll out of this segment and we'll say our farewells to Ben. Oh, that was fun. I love that game.
Totally, man.
That game is so much fun because you can literally do anything with it.
Mix things up.
Yeah, that's great.
Next time we have you on, Ben, we'll have you jump in with us into the Mile High Matrix. Which is where we
red pill, blue pill, orange pill,
orange pill, blue pill.
Ooh,
I
love it.
It's given. You're given 2 choices. You have to pick one.
Ooh.
Yep.
We love doing that on here as well. But I figured I'd only subject you to 1 segment tonight.
I love it, man. Love it.
So
keep your stand.
I'm sure you gotta roll out, Ben. We actually went way over the allotted time that you gave us, so we really appreciate you being on here with us. And
thank you, Ben.
If you
of course,
and please tell everyone watching where they can find you on social media and on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, I'm basically a lurker on social media. I mainly just do YouTube. So check me out, Sports Talk Denver, and I'll definitely link to this video in my next one, man. This was a ton of fun. You guys crushed it, and it's awesome to have community, even though we're all spread out all over the country, man. That's what makes it Broncos Country, baby.
Nashville, Michigan, Omaha, we're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
And one thing that our goal for this network, for the Orange and Blue Network, has always been that it feels like, rather than being a totally constantly analytical show, it's more like hanging out with your best friends at a tailgate and just talking Broncos. That's always been our goal.
That's how it felt, man. That was great.
So we appreciate you being here, buddy, and hope you have an excellent week. And we'll catch you on the flip.
Believe, baby.
Well, we do. Believe. Good night, Ben.
Let's go.
Man, what a guy, man. What a dude. I really, really like having Ben on the show. That was fantastic. Guys, I hope everybody enjoyed his presence on the show tonight as well. Make sure you jump on over to YouTube, like he said, and check out his show. And you know, and we definitely appreciate Ben being on with us tonight. D-Rock just say, Ben, applause. I didn't get that up before Ben left. I'm sorry. Kodiak Broncos podcast popping in saying Hufanga over Locke and Greenlaw over Barton is like going from dating a 2 to a supermodel.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
It's not. But still, I haven't heard it put quite that succinctly yet. So, well said, Kodiak.
Thanks for joining, Kodiak. Appreciate that.
And of course, Victory Lap popping in. Him and D-Rock are both in Cali. We were talking about being in Broncos country all over the place. We're spread out, and that's
coast
fine.
to coast.
I've said it before. One of my favorite things to say is if a Broncos fan is standing on it, it's Broncos country.
Well, yeah, and to that regard, we also like enjoy other teams as fans coming in as well that have the exact same mentality. I don't know. It's nice just to have a platform to just be lax and not be analytical and
the
talk
analytics are great. We always talk the analytics too because we love to support our opinions and our thoughts. But
yeah,
it's more fun, I think, being able to talk like people. Dude, that's what I think that's what sets me and you, our network, not just our show, but our network apart from others is that we make it more like a hangout.
Yeah. Well, and it seemed like Ben's kind of cut from the same cloth, and I always appreciate like a fellow, like-minded sports fan. So awesome.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. So let's keep on. We've still got some time, unless you want to get out of here earlier than normal tonight, Jay.
Well, no, I have a couple questions for you. I've
all right, send them, bud.
At the very end, I want just a quick second just for a Nugget soapbox.
Dude, that's happening tonight. I've already decided that. Yeah,
I just need a quick, just get something off my chest, and I'll be all good going into the playoffs. But I do want to talk about a couple of things as far as the discourse out there on X, on a lot of mock drafts and a lot of people's opinions. The hubbub of Shedeur having a workout with the Giants, in my opinion, is smokescreen. And I don't think we're in the season of lying here. Things are not what they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. The first round's going to be different than I think anyone expects, like last year's Penix. So
yeah. Well, and I'd like to comment on the whole Shedeur working out with the Giants thing. Okay, one thing you got to remember too: these guys are they're going to the NFL. Nothing is set in stone. And at the same time, they're looking at their future.
Yeah.
And so, especially for someone like Shedeur, who knows he's going early, right? We know Shedeur is probably going early in the draft.
I mean, there's people that
it's
mock
possible.
him all the way down to Pittsburgh after us.
Yeah.
So
maybe. But the point is, like, the point that I'm trying to make, though, is there's a possibility. His play was phenomenal in college. So he could go anywhere in that first round, and for someone like him who's looking at his future, any team that's going to call him to come in and work out for them, the smart thing to do is go.
Yeah.
You just like actors and actresses, if when their agent calls and says, "Hey, I have an opportunity for you," this casting director wants you to read some lines, check it out. You don't say no.
Sure.
No matter what the project, you go, you read the lines, you do your best to endear yourself to everyone possible so that you have the possibility of reaching your highest potential. And in this case, your highest payday.
Sure.
So
as high as you go, you get a different, rookie salary structure.
Yes.
Obviously it's advantageous to go as soon as possible, even if it's to a crappy team that's a bad fit. But
absolutely.
I think it's interesting to me, the smokescreen season that we're in, of that the stuff that leaks out to the media is intentional, in my opinion.
Oh, sure.
And I feel like you almost need to do the opposite. So like that almost to me solidifies, well, Shedeur's definitely not going to the Giants. Like that's just a complete, facade.
Maybe.
And I don't know. I think The whole thing of Dallas losing 2 offensive linemen to retirement in the same offseason, basically forcing their hand to focus on the line a little earlier because they were in the running for a running back, whether it's Hampton I saw mocked a lot to them. Obviously, Genty if he falls, but like that's our competition this year in the draft for that running back slot that everybody is clamoring of, that we even trade up. Like, Johnny, truly, do you honestly believe Sean Payton, George Payton, is ready to go to trade up in the first round for a running back? Do you think that's an actual possibility?
I think it's a possibility if the running back of Sean Payton's dreams falls to the right place. Like, let's say he falls to 14. I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're ready to give up what they would need to move up into the top 10. Not a chance. I think that would be foolish. And I think, I think that would be grasping. Yeah, that'd be grasping for straws. However,
it's not a quarterback.
If say Omarion Hampton or, like Ben predicts, Ashton Genty somehow fell to 14, I could see them on the phone making a phone call, being like, "What will it take for me to to take your pick at 14?" I could see them doing that. 14, 15, and actually I heard the same thing on DNVR from Brian Baldinger. Baldy said something similar. I could see them making that move up to like the mid-teens if they had to, but definitely not the top 10. And again, it would only be if the right player fell to that point.
Sure.
So otherwise, if those players are off the board, if Hampton's off the board, if Genty's off the board, by 10, by 12, no, that's when I see them doing what I said and making the trade backwards.
Sure.
Because 20, like I said, is a really, given our needs, which our only real need is running back, it's a bad
slot. And even worse than the 20 slot is the 51 in the second round for running back, because the entire wave of running backs are going to be gone by 51. So it's
the important ones. Yes. That's why I could see them making that up. Yeah. And that's why I could see them making that trade backwards.
If possible.
So that they could,
But
so that they could, as Sean Payton calls them, the dart throws.
Yeah.
Get you some extra dart throws and still get your running back.
To me, the only way that happens, and we have a suitor for that slot, is someone that's trying to jump Pittsburgh for a quarterback. And I just don't believe Jackson Dart, or if Shador falls that far, then so be it. We might have that discussion.
Lord knows Cam Ward ain't dropping that far.
Well, no, obviously not. And Jalen Milroe, even though he's attending, is not worthy of a first-round draft pick, and I think it's crazy that he's even going. So I just
as incredible as last season's quarterback class was, this year's quarterback class is.
I think we all, as Broncos country, would agree that trading back's probably the ideal scenario, but I just don't think there will be very many suitors ready to trade up. Like, it's not that kind of draft. We don't want to have our slot for a reason. Like,
it might happen. It might happen. It might not. But that's the scenario I would see happening, is that if the right guy doesn't fall to them, the right running back doesn't fall to them at fall to the mid-teens, at that point they're making the calls to try to trade back.
See, and I think even presented with a really good wide receiver, we would still trade back, because it's more likely someone would trade up for a skill position like that than I got to trade up for a safety or something.
And we have to remember what Sean Payton himself said to Kay Adams about the wide receiver position.
He's good with
he is good with how it is. We've said it before. Kay Adams is Sean Payton's boo thing. He tells her what he's thinking, what he's feeling. And if that's what he's saying, if he is saying, I am fine with our wide receiver room as it stands, I have confidence in what we've got, he's not going to want to spend that pick at 20. Even if George wanted to, Sean Payton is going to be like, George, no.
And that's why I ultimately believe they will. If they can trade back, they will. But if they stay at 20, I think that defensive line position makes so much sense, because they're going to look back on their playoff game with Buffalo and say to themselves, well, we got to play Buffalo probably again in the playoffs. So if we want to make the jump, we need to invest in the position that we got crushed in that game. Like, obvious we are not on the same level playing field on the line defensively. Their offensive line.
Can I ask? So next week's show, because it'll be 2 days before the draft. So next week, guys, get ready because we have our show on Tuesday, Broncos Talk on Wednesday, and then on Thursday will be a live Orange and Blue Network draft show. But on our show, on this show, Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue, next Tuesday, we are building together. We are going to build our big board. Like, we're going to build our own big board, me and you, Jay, that we will utilize on Thursday during the draft. We're going to during the week, I'm going to reach out to all the guys on Orange and Blue Network and have them all toss me their big board names and ones that we all come to consensuses on. We'll go on the big board, and we will do the rest here live on this show, building that big board, and then Thursday it will be you. We will have it as part of our live show. Just, being able to take names off.
It's going to be such a great draft. I'm so excited.
It's going to be great.
Draft. Friday night's going to probably be just as good as Thursday night.
Absolutely. And that's why we are considering doing a day 2 live draft show as well. We're still working out logistics on that, however. Because normally Friday is the night for Viva Los Broncos, which would take them out of the running that night for their show. So we need to work out some logistics, but we're working on it. But my question to you, my sweet, wonderful, dear cousin, is, I know, so adorable. Look at that smile. It's a winning smile. That's that Weaver smile. But let me ask you this. Aside from quarterback, just eliminate that completely. What is the one position that if the Broncos drafted at 20, let's say they stuck at 20, and they drafted any position, because we are in a position to draft, any position and best player available. What is the one position that would truly piss you off if we wasted our 20th pick, our 20 pick on that position?
Boy, that's a good question.
I can tell you mine if you need a second.
I mean, like, okay, can I separate, like, obviously not a kicker or a punter, duh.
Okay,
right?
Let's take quarterback and specialists off the board.
I'm gonna be true to
what
this.
Is the one
exercise.
Position that would piss you off if we picked that at 20?
Honestly, I would say cornerback.
Okay.
I don't disagree with adding a cornerback later on, but like I feel like our top 3 are pretty solidified. I love McMillian in the slot. I still have confidence in him. I think he's still fine. And I think we have CAD coming up that really hasn't had a lot of
big way.
Runway. He hasn't had runway of opportunity, really. Got checked into the Cleveland game late when Wallace was a dead body already. So that's not really a fair jump for him.
Can we forget that ever happened? Can we just forget that Levi Wallace was ever a thing on this team? I mean,
poor guy. What a exclamation point for a landing spot you had in your
Get back, I think I'm gonna vomit.
He's gonna want to forget he ever went to Denver, because that's the only thing he's known for. It's just like, you allowed Jerry Jeudy to come into Denver and make fun of us. Fuck you, Levi.
Oh God. Oh,
you're a monster.
Okay, so
Jerry Jeudy.
You say cornerback.
Yeah, cornerback.
If the Broncos, I've got 2 positions that would piss me off if we use them, or if we pick them at 20. Okay. Safety. No, listen. There are no
can make a
safeties. There are no safeties graded at that point in the draft that would be worth that pick.
Starks
and
Georgia.
Now he goes later.
Yeah.
He goes later. We don't have a need for a safety enough now that we have Hufanga to go waste that pick on someone you could get way later. That pissed me off. The other one is offensive line.
Oh no, I'm jumping off here. No, thank you. I would love offensive line. I think that makes all the sense in the world. All the sense in the world.
No, I can't.
Dude, D-line thinks in your realm here. He's saying offensive line would be his answer to this question. Yeah, I think you guys are nuts. I think you guys are being super short-sighted here. Offensive line is where you build the roster. You build the foundation in the trenches. We all know this phrase that gets repeated every year, but every year it comes to pass that it's true. Look at the Eagles. I hate to bring up that telltale example here, but like
I will bow to you slightly in that I understand what you're saying. However, in this draft, in the position that we are in right now, this is a position we have never been in.
Gray Zabel, sign me up right now at 20. I would gladly take it. Gladly. He's versatile. He can play tackle. He can play
He's your first round pick, which means he's your first round pick, which means you expect him to be a day one starter.
He's got 5 years of controlled money then.
Yeah, but we also have all of our entire offensive line locked up for at least one more year. You're expecting him to be your day one starter if you're spending your first round pick on him. Therefore, who are you taking off the field?
Powers.
Okay. All right. I mean, I can see it. I still wouldn't like it.
Do you not think he would walk in and be better than Luke Wattenberg at center right out of the gate? He has the ability to play inside. Like
he has the ability to play inside, but I've never seen him toss a snap.
Dude, he would be, I think, dominant on almost every single level. I don't know about a left tackle. Obviously, that's a whole different beast. And obviously, we got the belly ready to go on the other side.
So then, how about this? How about I amend mine slightly? I'll go from offensive line to an offensive tackle.
I would agree with that. 100%. I would agree with that. With that. We have center and guard as a need. If you really think about it in those terms, like that's quite a bit of an inside. You don't know where the future is.
But yeah, if they took an offensive, I'll go ahead and say that now.
Tackle.
If they took an offensive tackle at 20, I would be pissed off of her.
Now, if Garrett Bowles wasn't extended, that's a different conversation. But we already hit the wagon. We're good. Yeah. We're done.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that you know what, Jay? I concede. I concede slightly.
I am the smartest man alive.
So well played. Well played. You got me to slightly change my perspective. Not completely, because it's still offensive line, but I'll change it to tackle. All right. So thank you. That was fun. I love it when that's one thing I love is that is when we have opposing viewpoints, because it makes for a much better conversation.
Well, that's what makes this, a worthwhile conversation, because at the end of the day, like, you can hear the same arguments in other places. And like, I don't know. I like to think outside the box on situations, because at the end of the day, we're talking about things we have no effect on, and we're talking about sports. A child's game.
Yeah.
It's nice to keep it light. Like, what if they did this and it still worked out? Like, I don't know. You just never know. Zig when you zag, man. You got to think about the things that are not being reported.
Absolutely. I'm checking on something real quick here. Give me just 1 second. You got something you want to discuss while I'm doing that?
Well, no, I guess just another side note of like, our offensive line was amazing last year. That is why Bo Nix looked the way he did. And
Agreed.
So that is a strength we have to keep a strength, because I feel like that will only pay dividends long-term for our team if we can keep going in assets towards that positional group. And assets could mean a draft pick. Assets could mean money, like we've already done, sunk into that line. We have one of the most expensive offensive lines, but that's a good thing.
Indeed.
It's worked out for us. Like, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. I mean, it is. I don't know. Like I said offensive line. I changed it. I changed it because you convinced me, cuz you did it. Well done. But
now,
I guess
if Gray's not there, then there's quite a drop off, I think, after that. Like, I think he's kind of a gem that might just be there at 20.
Absolutely.
We're not taking a tackle, and under that premise, there ain't a whole lot other than that. So, I don't know.
Let me see here. Where is it?
What was your I don't know.
Oh God.
What's the topic you want to cover? Is there something
Well,
that
what's
you're
his?
looking up
I
that's
wanted
like
to.
buried
Yeah.
treasure here?
No, it's not buried treasure. What's his name? I'm trying to find his name. The Carolina Panthers player that we signed.
Oh, the
In free agency.
special
Yeah.
teamer. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember his name either. He had one interception return for a touchdown, and I think that was like
Hey,
the big highlight of his career. He's
it was on Kirk Cousins. It was a good,
yeah,
a really good. But anyway, I just wanted to bring it up, not necessarily about the player himself. I want to bring up what his signing here indicates. Which we've already seen with several other, with the other acquisitions in free agency, but this one, it just kind of, it kind of puts the hit, the final hit to the nail, that really solidifies what the signings we've made this free agency have been. And that's that, there were 17 teams vying for
like
his
choice. Yeah,
huh? Yeah,
like
there were
players' choice.
17 teams that wanted to bring him in, all in the same price line. All of them recording him being like, come here for this. Come, and it was all for the same price. And in the end, he chose to come to the Broncos. That right there is absolutely indicative of not only the culture that we now have here, but just the potential that this team has to players.
Our stock is just skyrocketing.
For a player to choose us over 17 other teams at the same price line means that that players, not just Broncos fans, are seeing what is happening here, and they're going, I want to be part of that.
Sure.
Denver is truly, finally, we're seeing more and more of it, a destination where players want to come to play.
And it's very similar to Daniels in Washington. Deebo Samuel was literally split between, Washington, where he went, and Denver, because they're very similar situations where you have a rookie quarterback on rookie money that you see as a prospective free agent of like, oh, wow, they're going to have money to spend and they're going to go all in because they have the guy, they have the quarterback. Like, this is a hot commodity right now. And that's kind of how I view it, is we're hot right now. Like, very attractive.
But aside from just the money that they can spend too, it has a lot to do with the culture.
Yeah, they're going to have success here. Like Sean Payton, I can't imagine people are, not having confidence going into our franchise as an outsider. Like, he's got a esteemed, history of building a great culture and facilitating like a player friendly environment. That's what New Orleans was. That's why they're in cap hell still to this day. They mismanaged it so badly and like gave so much money out that is dead cap and just dead money after dead money. Like, they take care of their own. That's a great thing from a player perspective.
It is a great thing. It is a great thing. And, we heard Evan, in that interview that we kind of mentioned earlier with Benny Fowler and Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram said, Sean is like that cool uncle that you can just sit down with and talk to. Now, he is not that way to the media. Like, the side of him that we see when he takes the podium to give a press conference or whatever, that is not what the players see. That is not at all the kind of person he is in the locker room. He can get heated, but then again, I can think of quite a few uncles that can do that too. But he said it. He's like, he's that cool uncle that I want to play for, that I want to be able to be around. And to hear that from Evan Ingram being as a big part of, Ben hit on it. Evan Ingram was wanted on several teams around the league. He came here for his visit, and then he left. And we thought, oh, great, we lost him. He went to LA, met with the Chargers, similar situations, big name coach, rookie, not rookie, but a young, fiery quarterback, all of that. And then he walked out of there, came back and said, yeah, I want to be here. And that speaks highly of the culture that has been built here. And
It's a big
could not
deal.
be more excited about it.
We have
It's a huge deal.
stability, which is a really nice thing for a player to walk into, because at the end of the day, from a human standpoint, you're moving your whole family here. You know, you're creating roots if you are a
Moving your
notable
life.
free agent, because it's a multi-year deal, you know. And that's the kind of free agents that we are attracting, is people that
And-
like want to be here for the rise. Like they want to be
And
here
to that
during the
point,
year.
you know, to that point, as a man who in my adult life with the U.S. Army had to up and move my family multiple times across the country, because, you know, Army contracts are only for 3 or 4 years long, you know, so you sign a new contract with the military, same thing, you move. And that's it. And as a man who, as an adult, had to move his family several times, I can speak to that. It is not easy. It is not fun. It is not enjoyable. The kids are brokenhearted and sad, leaving their friends and everything that they know. You know, your spouse, they have a life. They have friends. They have, you know, their favorite hangouts, their favorite restaurants, their favorite, you know, the things that they love in the area that they're in. And when you tell them, hey, guess what? I love you, but you got to follow me, or, you know, I hope you follow me to this new place where you know no one, and nothing is, and you know, there's nothing familiar. It's hard to do.
Sure.
It is very hard to do. I've
Well,
done it multiple
And
times.
that's why you have to
not
have
easy.
leaders on every level. And again, when you look at our franchise of like owner, cash flush, check.
Yeah. Check.
Coach has won a Super Bowl, has pedigree, has terrific assistant coaches. Like the staff in general is terrific at every level. Check. And then at the end of the day, you have player leaders as well. Bo Nix is a leader of men. I know we
Yes,
coined
he
that
is.
for Vance Joseph, but like Bo Nix is a leader of men. There are people that would gravitate towards him and take less money just for that. Of like, oh, this
Oh, yeah.
guy like can talk to the team. It's just a massive difference on every level.
It is. It's an incredible change. And you even forgot to mention, like, I know you said, you know, assistant coaches, but, you know, a training staff that now has
Sure.
a reputation
Healthy
of keeping players healthy.
Yep.
You know, and you know, the healthiest team in the NFL for 2 years in a row with that training
Wood,
staff.
Johnny.
Yeah, I'm knocking on it. But I mean, am I wrong?
No, I mean,
You know,
that's why
they
it gives me pause for concern next year. But like that has been, we've been like the healthiest team in the NFL, really, over like the last 2 years.
hey, listen, you
extremely
can knock on wood. You can say that it gives you pause for concern, but their product speaks for itself.
It's true.
They have, you know, Bo Lowry and his staff have the right recipe to keep as many players possible healthy compared
and
to.
that's why I said on my
other
gut,
organizations.
like I don't think the average Bronco fan understands that we literally have 2 MVPs that are named Bo.
Yeah.
I thought you said go, Bo, go.
Different Bo, it applies.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I answered the same question in my Broncos media battle right after yours, the week after yours, about who was the MVP, and I got chastised because I was gonna, because Mundungus said Bo Nix.
Of course he did. So
And-
he got first dibs.
Yeah,
Every
he had
answer
first dibs on
after
that one.
is
Well, hey,
wrong.
I won the coin flip that week, but in that situation, that question was on his turn to go first. So he gave Bo Nix. I wanted to keep it interesting. I didn't want to be the guy that goes, oh, this, huh. No. I wanted to, try to mix it up a bit. And initially I was like, I started to say a coach's name, and I was told, no, most valuable player, not most valuable person. So
Most valuable to the franchise, Sean Payton has made it.
that's what I was
We
going to
were
say.
still under Nate Hackett. Oh my god.
It didn't work out for me. I got chastised and told, no, most valuable player. And I was like, well, then fine. I'm sorry. I can't name someone else and keep this interesting. It's got to be Bo Nix. But
Not wrong.
because there
Not
is no
wrong.
other answer there.
Well, you're not
And-
wrong, but I will tell you what is wrong. Will Lutz.
Will Lutz. That is way wrong, Jay. All right.
Poor
So,
kid.
is there
Poor
any other it's obviously, we got about 7 minutes left in our normal run time. So, let's jump on this Nuggets soapbox and talk some Denver Nuggets for a minute. I know this is our Broncos show, but we got to talk about our Nuggies, baby.
Maybe Nuggets Corner. Come into Nuggets
Yeah.
Corner.
Yeah, let's go.
So, very interesting seeding scenario here for the playoffs.
Okay.
I will tell you, if you're a casual basketball fan and you tune into the Nuggets every once in a while, another non-Nugget series here is going to be Minnesota and the Lakers. That is going to be a phenomenal series. I cannot wait to see the matchups in that. I respect both teams. That's
Ant versus Ant and Rudy versus LeBron and Luka. I mean, it's going to be insane.
It's going to be nuts. But the Nuggets got the straw of the Clippers coming in hot. They've won 9 of 10. They've looked extremely good against teams that probably weren't trying a whole lot. So, I don't take tons of stock in a recent winning streak going into the playoffs. But, you can't discount it, I guess.
No, but we still have the best player in the world.
Correct. And Zubac has historically not been able to slow Jokic down. He at least doesn't foul a whole lot like Gobert in the matchup of Gobert, Jokic. The Nuggets have some spark because of the coaching change and because of, Booth getting fired and that whole debacle, but it built the team up. So
Absolutely.
I am excited to see the full strength of our offense because I think they understand that this is their last dance as this whole grouping. Because I think MPJ is on his way out, and I think Murray might be on his way out as well in a different deal. I could see both.
Yeah.
I could see both being this offseason. I think there will be wholesale changes with the Nuggets if we do not win a chip because we, have the responsibility to the best player in the world to do something. Because if it doesn't work this postseason, we got bad vibes. Can't have that. What do you think, Johnny?
I mean, here's the thing. I think the Nuggets were really struggling this season in ways we hadn't seen them struggle in a long time.
It's bad.
It was bad. It was bad. And you weren't here last week to hear my tirade over Russell Westbrook and the games that he has cost us recently.
That is so polarizing, dude. You will get lynched on the internet if you talk badly about Westbrook. That is the craziest gang I've ever seen.
It was an incredible game. I mean, Jokic put up a career high. He put up his 30th triple double. And the first triple double ever to be 30, 20, and 12 or something like that. I don't know. But the point is the 62. I mean, 62 points in one game by Jokic. Unbelievable. And for us to lose that because Russell Westbrook couldn't waste the clock and decided to go for an ill-advised layup. And then while we still have a 1-point lead with only 4 seconds left in the game, leaps like a madman to block a 3-pointer where he runs into the shooter and gives them 3 free throws with a tenth of a second left on the clock.
Do you know who I blame? Do you know who I blame?
Who?
I blame Jamal Murray for that. Because Russell Westbrook should never be on the court for situations that are as crucial like that in that moment. That's not why he's in Denver. He's supposed to be an off-the-bench, off-the-beat scorer that is in non-Jokic minutes. Control the ball, Russ. Go do your own thing, Russ. You're great at what you do, Russ. Do it. Go 1,000 miles an hour out of control because your Tasmanian Devil-style play works for 15 minutes a game. But you know when it doesn't work? When you play 35 minutes a game and you're closing down the stretch. It's just not where he is in his career. It's a disservice to our team. And it's also a disservice to Russell Wilson. Or Russell Wilson.
You mean Russell Westbrook?
Yes, multiple people have said that. Russell Westbrook. Because
I mean, Scott Hastings makes that mistake at least
All
once
the
a night
time.
on
all the
altitude.
time he does. It's one of my favorite.
No,
shows.
not sorry, not is it Scott Hastings or is it Chris Marlowe that makes it?
No, it's Scott Hastings. Scott
Okay,
Hastings.
I thought
does
so.
that,
Yeah,
which
But-
that's my favorite show. Man,
I love him.
dude. It's bad. It's bad the situation we put him in. And it's the same thing of what we did to Reggie Jackson, to be quite honest. Reggie Jackson was a buyout contract that we should have allowed to just have his little spurts because he wanted to come home. He's a Colorado guy. Have your spurts. But there were stretches where, like, he was starting and it was getting irresponsible of Malone always going to a vet.
Okay.
And, like,
I can concede that Jamal Murray not being in the game was a problem. But at the same time, you got to know you still got to know your place when you're on that court. If you're a three-time NBA, no, not three. He's what, two-time NBA MVP?
Two. Yeah, he's got two.
Yeah, two-time NBA MVP. You've got championship rings. You have been you're on the back end of your career and everything.
Westbrook has never won a championship.
Okay, sorry, my bad. He hasn't. But in those moments, as a veteran, even one without rings, as a former NBA MVP, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. You got to know how to execute in certain moments. You have to.
He can't help himself, man.
And even though Jamal Murray should have been on that court and wasn't, you are. And as a veteran, as a two-time NBA MVP, you have to be able to know when the right moment to do something is. And I'm sorry, that layup attempt with 12 seconds left when you still have 8 seconds on the shot clock, ill-advised.
That was literally
foolish.
You're probably right. That is the pivot point that, like, Malone, you're done. Like, it's not that you did anything wrong. And Josh Kroenke said as much in the press conference that he had was that both of these guys don't deserve to be fired. But, like, we need to use this
as
a
to shake it up
to, like, catapult this team to save this year. But man, it was bad vibes on that game. I watched that game live and I was so crushed.
It was terrible. So going into the playoffs,
yep.
I'm excited. I'm excited about the position this team is in right now. Now, is David Adelman the guy to go to hold that seat as head coach in the future? I don't know. But what I do know is that the fire was lit under these guys' butts.
If we go to the finals, Adelman's got the job, no question. Like, I think there is a certain threshold of success this playoff season. That,
I would honestly go so far, Jay, as to say if we win, a series in the playoffs with Adelman, his name will be in the hat.
His name's in the hat now, but dude, he has the ear of this locker room, and at the end of the day, it's a pseudo Nikola Jokic. It's your team. You're the coach. Like you just instruct everyone. That's really what it is.
I mean, and then here's the thing: they were making such a big deal about that, showing the shots of Nikola with the my bad, with the board and directing traffic on the bench during timeouts. And I was like, he's been doing that forever anyway. Yeah. Like when Michael Malone was still on this team, you saw him with the clipboard in his hand. It's just only now that they're making a big deal about it. It's already been that way.
Yeah.
But I could see Adelman, running forward with this team. I'd be okay with it, honestly. But going into the playoffs, to answer your question, I'm sorry, we get so divergent there at times. To answer your initial question, going into the playoffs as it stands right now, 4th seed, we've got home court advantage. We're going to take on the Clippers, who, like you said, they had a 9-game win streak to end their, out of 10 to end their season.
They're a good team.
Against teams that were not necessarily really, trying as hard as they probably should have been at that, at the end of the year. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of this. Of at least for sure, I'm not scared of this first round.
I was going to say they're a great team, but we match up really well against them. Like
very well, offensively and defensively.
We can
now. The one thing that we definitely need to make sure happens against the LA Clippers in the first round is a strong transitional defense, which of course has been one of our weakest points in this season. It's going to be tough, but they can do it. They can do it. And even with Jamal Murray back, the surgence. I don't even think that's the right word for it. The emergence of Christian Brown this season cannot be understated. He is a phenomenal forward, and I think his name will be big in this league for years to come.
Well, he's going to be the name to watch in the first round because he's going to have the James Harden matchup. So you got AG is going to go against Kawhi. AG was brought here to stop Kawhi. And then you got Will Powell. Oh, man, I can't remember his first name. I think Norman Powell.
I know who you're talking about.
Norman Powell. He'll go against Murray. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, I think, for MPJ as well, because I think it'll be really interesting how Adelman utilizes MPJ, because MPJ is horrible in defense, especially with the long wings that.
You definitely expect with the wingspan that man has that he'd be a much more of a factor on defense, and he's not.
I think you'll end up finding that Peyton Watson will slot more into the lineup with higher minutes in the playoffs than people expect because of the defensive presence he has.
He has an amazing defensive presence.
MPJ's ratio of how bad he is defensively versus what he contributes offensively is way out of whack. It used to be maybe even or a little bit of plus, but it's no longer plus.
And the thing about MPJ, I love MPJ. I have MPJ jersey in my closet, but
he can't move laterally.
He can't move laterally, and his offensive play has become his offensive play. When it's hot, it's hot. When it's not, it's not.
He's a beautiful form shooter, but he just can't move.
No, and his offensive play, like I said, hot when hot, not when not.
Yeah,
it's so disgustingly inconsistent. You never know which Michael Porter Jr. you're getting that night. It's akin to what I was saying about Javonte Williams on the Broncos this last season. This game, he was on fire, and we were all excited that Javonte Williams was did put up the numbers he did this game. And then the next game, we were like, "Yep, Javonte's the problem."
And you know what? You can have that conversation about a role player on a team, which MPJ is, but everyone should understand that MPJ's on a max contract. He's supposed to be comparable to a different player on a different really bad team, like the number one guy on the team. He should be a star for what he's making.
And he's not.
And he's not. He's not even close to. He's like a number 3 or 4 option offensively. And that's his skill set is offensive.
You get him the ball. You get him the ball behind the arc, and you give him a chance to do a quick sidestep for a shot. He's got good odds of landing it. I
fully expect MPJ on the move. That is
I do too.
It's gonna happen. Even if we get pennies on the dollar in return, he's got to get moved. We got to have some new blood for that position. I feel like.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm excited about the playoffs. I'm excited that despite the back pedal we had there at the end of the season that took us out of the from the second seed to the fourth.
Yep.
I'm very happy that once we landed at the fourth, we were able to get 3 wins. And maintain that spot.
Hey, with the best player in the world, anything is possible. We could win a chip this year. No question.
Amen. Hey, listen, every article I've said still puts the Nuggets as contenders.
Yeah. You can't deny
I have
best player in the world,
and
by a lot.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, the one absolute travesty is that he probably won't get MVP this year.
No, he won't.
Despite absolutely having the best statistical season of his career, of the best statistical season of any player in the NBA this year.
But it'll be all that much sweeter, just like in 23 when the Nuggets were the number 1 seed and he absolutely dominated and won a championship. He did not win.
And who got it that year? It was Giannis, wasn't it?
No, that was the Embiid year.
It was when Embiid got it. That's right.
Zero reason Embiid should have with his, we think SGA is a foul baiting basketball player. Embiid was insane that year in foul baiting. I mean, he still is, but
still is for sure. Anyway, I'm very excited about it, Jay. I can't wait to be sitting there talking with you. And here's the thing: this next year, I fully intend for us to finally launch our Nuggets podcast.
Oh,
I
dude.
just figure it's the wrong time of year to be doing it now.
Sure.
So
But hey, yeah, man, it's gonna be a great playoffs. Great playoffs.
It is. So, guys, we are actually about 10 minutes longer than we normally run. We usually go for an hour and a half. We're going to let you get out of here because we're going to get out of here. We have work tomorrow and kids to get to school. My kid's in the middle of standardized testing for the state right now.
Bless your heart.
I know. So it's been fun. It's been a great show. It was awesome having Ben on here, and we will definitely be having him back. We appreciate everyone who jumped into the comments and talked with us. We love you all. If you have not already, and I didn't do this early in the show, and I should have. I'm kicking myself over it. If you have not already, or this is your first time watching, please like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X. Call it whatever you want. Check out the audio version of our podcast. Yes, dodgeball. Check out the audio version of our podcast on all your favorite platforms. Also, we are partnered with the MHRT Network, so please make sure you jump on over to MHRT Network as well. Like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, even on Instagram for those guys. We appreciate you all. We love you, Broncos Country. We love you, Orange and Blue crew. Thank you for being with us tonight. We will see you next week for Draft Week, baby. Let's freaking go. Go Broncos. Good night.
Gray Zabel.
Orange and blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. No stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Catching up on all that we knew. Hit play, let the episodes accrue. Nothing rhymes with